Hello, I'm Durr-e and Haque, aka Deah. I'm an Indonesian Pakistani non-binary lesbian.
I'm Merryana Salem. I am a Lebanese Aboriginal bisexual woman.
We are two writers who love movies, television, and books, especially when they're gay.
And welcome to GayV Club, where we analyse LGBT texts
That we like, that we don't like, and how we relate to these texts as gay people of colour.
Woo!
Episode 6?
It's the end of Volume 1.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's what we decided 2 days ago.
Yep. That these are volumes, not series, because volumes just sound so prestigious.
Sure.
Yes, it does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Basically, every 6 episodes, we plan to take a break. So this is our last episode of the year.
Yep.
And of the decade.
Ooh. Before we go to the Roaring 20s 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Screaming 20s 2.0, because that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
For the majority of the 20s, I believe. Wow, I'm going to be living that long. Amazing. If global warming,
Hopefully.
warming permits me to, you know. That'd be nice.
Inshallah. So for today, we were going to do a year in review, but then we were like, hey, this is actually like the end of a decade, not just the end of a year.
I know.
So we're going to be doing a decade in review of our favorite LGBT films, TV shows, not just the LGBT ones, just the really good ones that were unfortunately straight.
The straights can occasionally make a decent film A.
Yeah.
You know, we hate to admit it, but they do, you know, occasionally.
Not
like,
as good as when gays make really good straight film A's.
True.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice 2005.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we didn't hit Pride and Prejudice 2005 levels this decade, but
No.
It's hard. I get it. I get it, straight filmmakers. It's hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I've made a list of my favorites of the decades, and Mary has made a list, and we're not looking at each other's lists.
Nope. We are
And-
not looking, and we are going to find out what each other has written as we go on.
Yes. So we're going to start with 2010.
Take me back, if you can, to
Oh, God.
to who you were and what you were doing in 2010. I didn't know you in 2010.
No, you didn't know me in
Nope.
2010. I was in year 8. I was in my emo phase. I had a
Wow.
boyfriend.
Oh.
He was honestly the worst. I wrote poems for my best friend, and she wrote me letters back that she would illustrate, and only this year did it occur to us just how fucking gay that was. So that's where I was in 2010. What about you?
I was in year 10 in 2010.
Wait, how old were you?
Or turning 16. As I've repeatedly said to you, I don't think I've said it on this podcast, but I was not a closeted gay. I was what I like to call a dumbass gay, who just didn't know that I was gay. Like, I just thought everyone had thoughts like, oh yeah, I'd totally make out with Vanessa Hudgens, but who wouldn't, right? You know, so...
Like the level of enlightenment you were on in 2010.
I know. No, I'm serious. I actually assumed everybody has thoughts like that, so it's not weird for me. And this is partly because my sister is also gay, so I just assumed, like, oh, because, you know, I had someone who was so close to me, like, from birth, who was also, so I was like, oh, this must be normal. It wasn't until, like, ages later that I was like, oh, yeah. But anyway, so I was just going around being a dumbass in 2010, because I was a dumbass, in many ways.
You're not a dumbass for being unaware of your own oppression, I don't think. Like, you're just lucky.
Yeah, I think...
I'm very happy that you had that.
I did. 2010, I was the year that I got very confident about performing music. I remember that distinctly.
What were you into in 2010? Like, that was one of my biggest Harry Potter years, 2010, because it was ending.
I think the most distinctive thing when I think of me in 2010 is I was just very into New Who, like New Doctor Who a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the most distinctive thing I remember. Also very much into Harry Potter.
Yes.
Because it was coming to an end.
The movies were,
yeah. The movies was coming to an end. Very into the Hunger Games. Once I got into a punch-up with a girl because I accidentally spoiled, like, part of the book. She got real mad at me and punched me in the face.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I was very much into my YA, which I think is appropriate given the age.
Uh-huh.
And I was very much into New Who. And I was just going around being a dumbass, assuming that everybody would want to kiss Vanessa Hudgens if they had the chance. And that's pretty much who I was. I also was still thinking that, oh, I could be a YouTuber. Like, that's my ideal career. Yes, and also performing a lot of songs. I think the most iconic thing I ever did was perform Missy Higgins' Scar and not change any of the pronouns because I was like, why wouldn't I sing about being in love with a woman? Like,
yeah. So what's an LGBT film that you remember watching in 2010?
This is... Alright, here we go. This is not a good film, but this was one of the first LGBT films I watched in 2010.
From 2010?
From 2010.
Mm-hmm.
The Runaways.
Oh.
The Runaways, with Kristen Stewart and Dakota Fanning. I downloaded that off LimeWire, which is to say that I bought it legally from a shop. And I watched it, very pixelated, and I was like, oh, lesbians.
I see.
Very exciting. Very exciting stuff.
I see.
That's the only movie I remember watching that was gay in 2010. Looking back, it's sort of unfortunate, but you know what? I actually enjoyed it when I watched it because I liked the music.
Yeah.
And I also really loved Dakota Fanning.
Mm-hmm.
But I also remember thinking at the time, I was like, wow, she's the same age as me. But that was the first one. So what about you? What's an LGBT film from 2010?
I would not call this an LGBT film, but...
I know what you're going to say. Can I guess?
What am I going to say?
Are you going to say Black Swan?
No! I was saving that for... Okay, let's get into it. Get into it.
No, I want you to say your movie first. No, I want you to say your movie first.
No, it was Scott Pilgrim.
Oh my god! True!
Yeah, also, by the way, it's really weird, Succession stands. It's really weird seeing you guys say that Kieran Culkin is hot now. Like, it's just... I don't understand you.
I actually didn't think of Scott Pilgrim. I can't believe I didn't, but I forgot. I can't believe I talked about this with you the other day and I forgot that Ramona is bi. Oh my goodness.
Well, I wouldn't say that she is bi. I mean more Wallace. Stephen Stills is actually gay in the comics, but they don't get into that in the movie. I feel like that's a fun movie. I was obsessed with it when it came out. It's got a killer soundtrack and everything, and really fun editing, and just
again. Friend
I know, but like
also the vegan police.
Yes,
they are my favorite.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. You know, in hindsight, I look back in it and I'm just like, this is such a teenage boy fantasy, obviously, and like, you know, they just did all the Asian characters like that, didn't they?
They really did. The L word, Scott. Lesbian? No, the other L word.
Lesbians.
Love,
Scott. I wasn't trying to trick you. But yeah, Black Swan. Okay. Listen, Black Swan is not an LGBT film, but it's not a lesbian film at all. It's not a bisexual woman film at all. But I feel like it had a very significant impact on not just the community, but on how basically a lot of film lovers view LGBT films, I guess. That scene with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis was coined the term that I've noticed a lot of film gays use, which is called Black Swan gay, that term, which is where two women in a film will kiss for the male gaze. Like, it's obviously not the first time this phenomenon has happened, but it's one of the biggest times that I remember in this decade. Honestly, like, a lot of people who wouldn't have gone to see Black Swan did go to see it because they hyped it up so much in the marketing. I remember, I think they won like MTV Best Kiss Award that year.
They did?
And things like that. And yeah, I think it was just an awful, awful film and time. Like, it's a technical masterpiece, but at what cost? That's a whole other episode that I could get into.
I also just want to say, and it's quite embarrassing, I've had a crush on Mila Kunis for a very long time, like but I didn't realize, obviously, because as I said, I was
I mean, at the time that I was watching it, I was like, interesting.
Mila Kunis, and I used to watch that scene with Mila Kunis and Natalie Portman, like,
oh wow,
and I'd be like, oh, I love this. But just that scene, I'd never actually seen the full movie until last year.
I see.
So,
I see.
I just really I was like, I like this. I like Mila Kunis. Like, she, like, is kissing a woman. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. But overall, I just hate Black Swan as a film anyway, even without that scene and the way that they used that scene and the way that they marketed the movie with that scene. It's just a really stupid, contradictory screenplay where it's a story about sexual repressance that somehow manages to paint her quote-unquote innocence as like a bad thing, while at the same time like fetishizing it. Like, she's manipulated the entire film by Vincent Cassel's character, who takes advantage of her inexperience and also her struggle to like prove herself. But simultaneously, he's shown as the one to be empowering her, like, oh, the only one standing in your way is you.
Yeah.
And, like, by the end, she's supposed to find, like, liberation and achieve, quote-unquote, perfection in becoming, like, a sexual object for these men. Even though Black Swan is, like, a technical masterpiece, like, it's shot incredibly well. Like, it's really hard to see past it as anything but a male fantasy.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
really
fuck Black
gross.
Swan.
It's a very gross film. But of course men love it. The people who tell me that Black Swan is a good film are usually men.
Yeah.
They're not women.
Thing is, quite a lot of gay women do like it, and I feel very sorry for them, I guess.
Get standards.
So it's kind of like you latch on to bad things sometimes because you feel like you don't deserve anything good.
I know, we're going to do an episode about that in the future.
Yeah.
But for now...
That's a whole other episode.
What are some other 2010 things?
Not technically an LGBT film again, but Easy A.
That's on my list!
I knew that would be on your list.
Okay, Easy A is my problematic fave film. I think this movie is so funny. I don't know. The gay representation in it is kind of weird because it actually like makes some points, but it uses
in
it
a very dismissive way as well.
In a very dismissive way, like comparing the friend, his struggles being a gay kid in school to just like every straight guy's struggle of being like in school and being
regarded as like sexually incompetent. Yeah.
Like I think that's a weakness of it, but at the same time, like there are some things that he says in that movie that like hit.
Some points were made.
Some points are made.
Also, Stanley Tucci's there.
I know it's like really homophobic that they make these jokes, but when like the mum's like, I dated a gay man once for a long time, a really long time, and he's like, and she's like,
oh my god, that's Patricia Clarkson.
Yeah, that's right. And you know when Emma Stone's like, please don't tell me you married him. She's like, no. She's like, your father is as straight as they come, girlfriend. And she's like, a little too straight, if you know what I mean. She's like, I don't.
I like to pretend that Emma Stone won her Oscar for
I do, because I just think it's a good performance.
Yeah.
I think it's really random though at the end how the gay kid does run away with that random black man just so that they can make the Huckleberry Finn reference. Look, the film makes some decisions that are questionable, but I think it also makes some points. And I'd just like to say that it's one of my most comedic moments in cinematic history when they're pretending to have sex in the bedroom.
Yes.
And she's like, just moan, you know, and he's like, what? I think Easy A is very funny. It's obviously like problematic because it was made in 2010, but I think it also makes some points, and unfortunately it's not the worst first piece of representation you could have. It's relatively not as bad as others.
Yeah. Another film that I did watch in that year was Beginners.
I've never seen that.
The Mike Mills film with Ewan McGregor. And I remember loving it at the time because I was fucking pretentious back then. This is the year
What do you mean back then?
2010 was the year that I got into film. Like 2010 was the year that I watched Fight Club, and I was like, maybe
you were like,
movies are
valid.
I thought it was really sweet at the time, but then I watched it again last year, and I think it's a very strange movie, and I think it's very strange. I get that it's based on Mike Mills' experiences with his own father, so I don't really want to judge him personally, but the way that the movie comes across, it's like Ewan McGregor's character, he obviously doesn't really believe in love because he's seen how terrible his parents' marriage was. They also connect that with the fact that his dad was gay. So it's like his dad being gay like ruined his outlook on love and relationships, which I think is not a great look.
Not a great look,
and it's not
a great message.
Yeah, that's why it's a little bit weird for me. Another movie that I watched Yes or No, which is a Thai lesbian film. This was back in 2010.
So you watched this in 2010?
And I was just like, this doesn't affect me at all. I haven't revisited it, but I would like to.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's a well-loved film. It's probably one of those, you know, bad lesbian films. Sometimes those can be good.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes the bad lesbian films are better.
Are better. So I don't have another... Oh, I do have another film, but as you know, I did not watch this in 2010. I watched this recently with you, and that's Heartbeats.
Yes! I didn't watch that in 2010 either. I don't remember when I watched it.
Director Xavier Dolan.
It is a lot of fun.
I
it's
struggle.
Really colourful.
I struggle,
love the music.
as you know,
I love
enjoying
the
French things, but you know, I enjoyed that. So that's the power that Xavier Dolan has.
Yeah,
you know?
I just love. I love the friendship.
It is. It's very cute.
It's very cute.
I actually really love the cinematography. I think it's still like got a feralness to it. I just think it's actually like a great rom-com storyline.
It
like
is.
It's actually like a really funny premise for a rom-com.
I love that both Xavier's character and Munir Chokri's character, like both of them are just like internally screaming the whole time. And you can like see the pain in their eyes, like in the performance. Like it's so good. It's so relatable.
It is. It's really funny.
Like they say something stupid and you can see them just like beating themselves up internally. It's great. It's great.
It's so, I get secondhand embarrassment from some scenes in that movie. Like,
yeah, I love it so
when
much.
she gives him the hat for his birthday, like
when she does the Audrey Hepburn impression, the worst. Oh man.
But also, I love that this came out in 2010. I love that there was like a gay,
just
gay
fresh
rom-com.
out of I Killed My Mother, and it won Sydney Film Festival, so that was pretty woke of them.
So I had that, but other than that, I actually do want to mention music.
Oh, sure,
this year.
Sure.
Janelle Monáe released her first EP/album in 2010. And I think we can safely say this decade really did belong to Janelle Monáe. She released one album in 2010 and then her next album, it came out in like 2 years later. Like she pretty much every 2 to 3 years has released a masterpiece for this decade. But of course, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But 2010 was the first Janelle Monáe EP release. I did not listen to it then, obviously, but it's worth acknowledging, I believe.
I have. Oh, there is. It's like a secret gay movie that came out in 2010 that I did watch in 2010. Never Let Me Go. Because not a lot of people know this, but the book that Never Let Me Go is based on by Kazuo Ishiguro. Keira Knightley's character Ruth is in love with Carey Mulligan's character Kathy. It's I actually really love the way that the book deals with it because it just talks really well about just female sexuality in general. And
the movie does have a weird acknowledgement of it, but it's like really weird.
And because Alex Garland fucking hates me, he wrote the screenplay for this movie.
I asked him once.
He did write the screenplay of this movie and he removed all of that from the story, but he left in that really weird scene where Kira kisses Carrie and it's weird.
It's not even lit well.
It's not even lit well. It's not. I hate it so much. Yep. So yeah, that's 2010.
That's 2010 in gay films, but I have some honorable mentions.
Oh yeah,
made by some straights.
Oh yeah.
And that of course goes to, and the award goes to Leap Year.
I knew you were going to say that.
You knew because it's.
We got Boy.
I have got Boy
by Taika Waititi. Yep. I love that
Boy
film so much.
It's amazing. I think it's actually probably his best film. Like in terms of
it is.
What We Do in the Shadows is a mockumentary. It's also a film, but like in terms of like a narrative, I think Boy is his best work. I love
Boy so much. We've also got Uncle Boudme, who can recall his past lives, and Incendie.
I do know that. I'll have to. Oh, and I want to also give a shout out to one of my favorite movies. I don't think this movie is good at all, but it is one of my favorite movies. It's called Morning Glory, about Rachel McAdams. She wants to be a producer of a morning show, and it's all about like the way. Like, it's just based on the comedy of how stupid producing a morning show is. It's got, like, a killer cast. It's got, like, Harrison Ford. It's got, Jane Fonda. It's got Patrick Wilson. And it's just a very funny movie. And maybe I find it funny because I study, like, production and, like, can see all this happening and how funny it is. I just love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. It's called Morning Glory.
Another thing I was doing in 2010 is I was shopping for stationery at Morning Glory every week. I would just buy.
Is that a shop?
Yeah, it's like a Korean stationery shop. I didn't know for the longest time that Morning Glory was slang for boner because I just thought that it was. I just thought that it was just, you know, that Korean stationery shop, and I would buy like a new notebook every single week. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Good for you. Sometimes stationery shopping is therapeutic. I have no other honourable mentions for that year. I want to acknowledge, though, that the Prince of Persia Sands of Time came out that year, and it was, people should have unstand Jake Gyllenhaal a long time ago.
Yes.
A long time ago.
You're right.
And the last thing I want to mention is Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland came out this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a gay movie in any way, but I'm just very gay for Mia Wasikowska.
Me too.
So, shall we move on to 2011?
Yes! The only gay thing that I actually watched, well, it's not even gay, it's technically bi, but also it's not even bi, really. It's not done very well. Is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh!
With Rooney Mara. I actually really love this. I hate the Millennium series. Like, I hate those books.
I hate them too. That's why I didn't even...
I cannot get through them, but this movie was so good. It's also the movie that David Fincher scammed us all into thinking Rooney Mara could act.
We won't forgive and we won't forget.
And Elodie Young is her sometimes girlfriend in that, who only appears in like 2 scenes, but you know, those are some good scenes. And
I know, it's really bad of me to say, because
14-year-old me was watching this like, this is interesting.
Elodie Young and Sophia Panas look very similar.
Oh, they do.
They do look very similar. They're completely different ethnicities. They just look very similar to me. They could play sisters in something. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with 2010. I just wanted to express that.
2011.
2011, sorry. 2011, what do I have on my list? I have TV. Are you ready?
No, I know what you're going to say.
It's the first one. It's the first thing I put, so I have to say The Hour.
Yep. See how big this is written?
See,
I wrote The Hour in big letters here.
I'm so good. See, I didn't even look at that because I wanted it to be like, I can't see what she's written and she can't see what I've written. And we've both got The Hour in like, that's the first thing. Yep. 2011.
Yep.
I could honestly talk about The Hour for a whole episode. I have so much.
The BBC series created by Abby Morgan, starring Romola Garai and Ben Whishaw.
They're lesbians. Yes.
Everything that Ben Whishaw is playing a lesbian.
Yeah, he is. The Hour came out in 2011 and I've not talked to a single...
And I have been fucking traumatized ever since 2012. I have not talked to a single gay... Since its cancellation.
Yeah. I've not talked to a single gay that is undefinably traumatized by The Hour, whether it's by its cancellation or by something else in The Hour. Yeah. Like, I don't know why it got us all like that, but it did.
I know.
I think it's the yearning and it's the the repression and the all of...
And Anna Chancellor.
Wow.
Listen, also, this is the start of my weird obsession with Peter Capaldi.
Well, it's not weird. He's great in it. Why is that weird?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not weird.
Like, I have a weird crush on Peter Capaldi.
Totally valid.
I know.
Totally valid.
Yeah. But Anna Chancellor
she is magic in this series.
She is.
She's pure magic.
The costume designer has said that she basically modeled all of Lickstorm's looks on like Marlene Dietrich. Like, how am I not supposed to think that she's like a lesbian icon? Because she really is.
All the women in that show go off. Like
Una Chaplin as Marnie. Oh my god,
she's a lesbian. Like Marnie, I'm saying it
Marnie
is
a lesbian.
Marnie is a lesbian.
Is a lesbian.
The only straight woman really on that show is Belle. As straight as you can be when you're in love with Ben Whishaw. Yeah. You know. Honestly, it's such a good series, but we warn you, if you haven't seen it and you go to watch it, be prepared to be
gutted.
Like absolutely gutted. But it's so well made.
But it's so good.
The BBC,
but it's so painful.
The BBC haven't topped it since. Yeah.
BBC made a series about BBC show Try Not to Get Cancelled.
They cancelled it. Yep. Maybe that's their way of saying we should have known, but we didn't. We were foolish and young and hoped for things.
Yeah. I was 14.
I actually didn't watch The Hour till 2013.
What else do you have?
What else do I have? I have Two Broke Girls, which is not technically gay, but it was like I don't know if anyone's like I don't know. Are you familiar with it? It's a sitcom with Kat Dennings.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah. It's deeply homophobic, but I shipped it a lot because basically the writers said that they wrote it to be like a rom-com of like the two girls falling in love, and I could see that, but at the same time you could tell that the network were like absolutely freaking not. So it's like really homophobic while it's also really cute. And it's like really weird, but it's also very racist and a horrible show in general. But I just wanted, so it's more of a dishonorable mention to Two Broke Girls. Hannah, yes. Can you believe they straightwashed the TV series of Hannah?
Yeah, they made a TV series out of Hannah. Hannah, the 2011 movie by Joe Wright, starring Saoirse Ronan.
Can you believe that people think like that Lady Bird is Saoirse Ronan's gay movie when she was in Hannah when she was like 11?
Not 11. That's Atonement.
13. Oh yeah, true.
Whatever.
Sorry, she was like 13 or 14. That scene is so tender in Hannah. Like it's so soft when the other girl like kisses her and she's just like, oh. Like, she's just so happy. That sequence she's so happy and warm. It's so nice.
But yeah, it's just a banging soundtrack with a really fun plot. It's very different for Joe Wright, I'd say. But yeah, he kills it. He kills it. The colors, beautiful. Eric Bana, pretty nice too.
Also,
unfortunately, Kate named her son after Roman Polanski. Blanchett is also in it. Perfect movies.
All right,
Don't exist, or at least they didn't until 2016.
Pariah.
Yes.
Directed by Dee Reese.
I love Pariah so much.
I did not watch Pariah in 2011.
Me neither.
It's so lovely. We've talked about it on the podcast before. It's about a butch black lesbian. And it's sort of a coming of age.
Directed by a butch black lesbian.
And it's sort of a coming of age, Bildungsroman, or whatever they call it. And it's really lovely. She's also a writer, which I love. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's what I related to a lot.
I just love also the scenes between her and her friend that's always trying to get her to, like, go out and, like, meet somebody. It's just such a nice movie. It's a sad movie as well, but it's also a really nice movie.
Yeah, I feel like it perfectly encapsulates that insecurity that you feel when you're aware of what you are and you don't really know how to be amongst your own community.
But also you're frightened to be because, like, it'll mean...
And there's also, of course, like, all the external things, like, the external things in your micro world, like your family, etc.
Oh, her family. It's a brilliant movie. I have also on this list, in terms, if you want to talk about gay coming of age, a Circumstance on here as well.
Ooh, that movie is rough.
Made by an Iranian...
Mariam Kashavars.
Yeah, she's a lesbian as well, isn't she?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure she is. We forgot to mention her in our Gay Gays episode, but I remember writing her name down, so she must be. But I've got Tomboy by Celine Sciamma.
I have not seen it, but I love
It's quite sweet.
Also, okay, I have, not technically an LGBT thing, but I have to talk about Much Ado About Nothing, the 2011
I knew
version.
you would.
I had to talk about it, but again, I didn't watch it when it came out then. No one could unless you actually went and physically saw it. But, you know, love David Tennant and Catherine Tate as Beatrice and Benedict. I hate all the reviews, which are most of them, that say they were terrible in it because...
They were so good.
They were so good. That's exactly how Beatrice and Benedict are meant to be.
Beatrice and Benedict are both bisexual.
Yep.
Just in case you weren't already aware.
Like, yeah, exactly. And they play them in that version as the bisexual disasters that they are. And no version of Much Ado does the, like, love confession scene better than they do when they're just giggling and screaming and running around like lunatics. Love it. Sweet and wholesome and wonderful, but a lot of people apparently, and this really surprised me when I was looking up reviews of it, like in archives, a lot of people really didn't like it. And I'm just decided that those people are biphobic and don't have taste.
Weekend by Andrew Haque is a lovely movie.
Oh, I've heard of this, but I haven't watched it.
Gays Be Contemplating. I'm like obsessed with movies that are just two people talking before trilogy stands do not interact. But yeah, Weekend is a lovely movie like that. My other mostly heterosexual, though I feel like there's plenty of gay subtext in some of these movies from 2011. Attack the Block. I have loved John Boyega since 2011.
Also the best November.
Which is so sad. It's so sad seeing Star Wars be like this now. I'm so glad that he's free from it. Also, The Raid. I love that movie. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows.
I was wondering which of us was going to bring it up. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows, which I know is your favourite of the two.
Yeah.
I love it as well, but I
know you don't like that they kill off Irene.
I'm sorry, it's hard for me to move past that, it really is.
But also, like, when I watched that scene, I'm like, as if they killed off Irene. Like, it never really hit me, because I never really actually believed that she was dead.
In denial.
In that. Also, we need to talk about Kevin by Lynn Ramsey. I love that film so much.
That's not a gay film, is
No.
it? No. My honourable mentions made by the straights. Look, there's honestly not many. 2011 was a pretty bad year.
I love 2011.
You love 2011?
There are heaps that I didn't mention.
2011, one of my favourite movies in the world came out. It's not a gay movie, called Another Earth. It was directed and written by Britt Marling, who wrote the OA. This is before she met Zal, who she makes the OA with. This was like her first movie. The story of how she got this movie made is wild. She, like, quit her job as an accountant, was like, I'm just gonna go and make this movie. And if you haven't seen, like, another...
Marling was in it. accountant?
Yeah, she was. She was an accountant. And this movie is wild. If you haven't seen it, it's about literally another planet appearing in the sky, and everyone's like, oh, what is it? And they think, oh, they realize it's identical to Earth, and they're like, oh, that's cool. It's another Earth. That's awesome. And then, like, the bomb that drops is, like, when they contact the other Earth, it's the same woman who's contacting from this Earth, contacting from that Earth, and they realize it's a parallel Earth that's come into their orbit. And the main character that Britt Marling plays is a woman who's gone to jail for like manslaughter. She accidentally killed this man's family, and she befriends the man, but he doesn't know that it was her that did it. And it's like a crazy story because she wants to get him tickets to visit the other Earth to see if his family are still alive. And it's like, oh, this movie is so emotional. It was made on a shoestring budget, but it's like, I love movies like that where it's made on $3, but you know you're saying things. Yeah. That's my honorable mention.
This reminds me a lot of Cloverfield Paradox.
It's like the better version of Cloverfield Paradox. It's so good. It's honestly one of my favorite movies. And Britt Marling is there, and she's just so ethereal. She's like the TV version of if Florence and the Machine, like if she made movies, she'd be Britt Marling. What else? I love Fright Night. Fright Night came out that year, and it's very fun, and I love it. Columbiana, which is one of my favorite Zoe Saldana movies, came out. It's a cool action movie. I really like that. Oh, Black Mirror came out this year. This was the first year, like, series of Black Mirror. So we had 15 Million Merits, which is one of my absolute favorite Black Mirror
National
episodes. National Anthem. Back when Black Mirror was good and actually was opinionated and took risks. And I think that's all I've got for the Raid.
Oh, I like that you put that there.
I put the
That's
Raid.
nice of
Because
you.
it's fun. I love the Raid. It's the first.
The Raid is like probably one of the first Indonesian movies that I watched that was actually popular, like amongst like the Western like film circles. So
Intouchables also came out.
Yes.
All right, so
2012.
2012. What were you doing in 2012? Give me a sneak peek. This was the year before we met.
No, this is the year that we met.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
we met after season 2 of Charlotte came out.
Yeah, after. It didn't come out until like the end of that year.
I thought it came out at the start of that year.
No.
Okay. I still had my boyfriend.
Oh dear.
I remember distinctly, he told me to watch the movie A Dangerous Method, which I feel explains enough about my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he just happened to mention in passing that he liked Keira Knightley in that movie. And I'd already had a crush on Keira Knightley that I wasn't fully aware of. And I kind of just used that. I remember, like, I used his, like, flippant remark just, like, as an excuse to really dive in to just, like, my Keira Knightley obsession. Just being like, I want to know what it is about her that...
Oh, right. Oh, right. That was, like, me with Gemma Argentine. Yeah. I just don't get it. I just need to look at her.
Like, I'd already, like, at this point, like, I'd already seen Bend It Like Beckham, I'd already seen Pirates, but then, like, I really went into Keira Knightley's whole filmography and just spent 2012, and I guess a bit of 2011 watching it, yeah. I really loved that one of my best friends would just make jokes like, oh, of course you're gonna watch this movie for Keira, and, like, I would tell her, I'm like, oh, I watched this Keira movie on the weekend, and she never pointed out to me how gay that was.
She shoulda. We're in 2012, right?
Yeah, so, 2012.
Okay, well, I was in my last year of school. That's how I know we didn't meet, because I was out of school when we met.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You were in the middle of your HSC when we met.
I was not.
I mean, like, online.
Oh, online?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe online, but I didn't meet you in the real world.
Yeah, we didn't meet until I'd finished school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, alright, fine. 2012. Yeah, I was finishing my HSC, and I was actually quite excited, because I was finishing my HSC, and that's very exciting because I didn't want to be doing it anymore. I actually wrote a Doctor Who fanfiction for my extension too. So I spent most of 2012 refining my fanfiction to hand it in. I don't know if we have any international listeners. Extension 2 English in Australia, you do a project. Like, it's basically a whole project. You do a whole project for a year. You can write a short story, or you can write like the opening chapter to a novel or something.
You can make a short film.
You can
write a big essay. Yeah.
It's essentially
poetry.
it's essentially like a mini thesis that you can do when you're 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was Doctor Who, and I wrote like a script for an episode that was meant to be exploring how the Doctor is possibly like a godlike figure, whether or not he is actually a godlike figure or deliberately written that way.
Yeah.
And but it was essentially just a River Doctor fan fiction because I made her the companion in it, and I was like, this is what it is.
Oh, in 2012, I got into Doctor Who.
Woohoo! It was a good year to get into Doctor Who. Actually,
that was a happy time.
It's a very happy time.
I mean, I loved revisiting it later on now when I had critical thinking skills, but you know, I was quite happy watching Doctor Who. It was like one of the only things that made me happy, actually. I distinctly remember not realizing I was feeling like absolute shit until like I watched like the Christmas special and then realizing how happy it made me.
That is the best indictment of Christmas specials I've ever heard. That's amazing. Oh my god. I love that. I'm going to use that anecdotally from now on to argue why Christmas specials are shit.
What? No, like the Christmas special made me so happy.
Yeah, it made you so happy. That's really sad because Christmas specials are bad.
Okay.
What Christmas special was it in 2012? Do you remember? I don't remember which one it was.
I remember it was the Michael Gambon one.
Oh, that's actually like one of the better Christmas specials. Fine, I rescind my statement. That's fine.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of actually gay movies in 2012. I saw Farewell My Queen. I saw Cloud Atlas, which is a dishonorable mention because of all the brown face and the yellow face.
But there's white face in it too, dude. They treat everyone equally.
Also, can I just say, like, Halle Berry and whiteface is like the most terrifying thing ever.
You want to know something worse than
What?
that, though? For 2012, the only remotely, like, gay thing I actually saw in 2012 is Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I actually watched that again recently, and I have a very different opinion about it.
Okay.
At the time in 2012, I remember reading Perks of Being a Wallflower and hating it because it was too close to the situation that I was in.
Oh,
so
fair.
I hated it, but like watching it again, I think I watched it again in like a bit over a year ago with my brothers because my brother just felt like watching it. Yeah, just
he was going through something if you feel like watching Perks of Being a Wallflower.
No, he was just curious about like what it was about.
Oh, okay.
Like I actually really appreciate it because I feel like it's a very good depiction of the trauma.
I haven't watched it since I watched it in 2012.
Like Emma Watson's performance is still shitty and cringeworthy and like ruins everything.
She looks very cute in it, though.
She does. Oh, she got that iconic pixie cut post Harry Potter. Well, we forgot to mention Harry Potter. Harry Potter finished.
By 2012.
That was the big thing. That was why I latched on to Doctor Who. I was like, I don't have anything left.
Yep. Okay, so the other gay movie I have listed here, again, though I didn't see this when it came out, as you know, I only watched this recently, and that's Lawrence Anyways. Came out in 2012, another Xavier Dolan movie.
I've got Helter Skelter, which is kind of a gay movie. I feel like it's a disgusting movie, but it's very beautiful, but it's disgusting. Like, it's supposed to make you feel like sick.
Is it?
Yeah, I love that movie. I did watch In the House, Dans la Maison. It's a Francois Ozon film, and there is a gay character in that. To this day, I'm still obsessed with it. I remember it was very influential on me because it's about a kid who is a writer, handing his work over to his English teacher who really believes in his skill. Watching this film made me realize I'm like, hey, you can make the most like banal scenes like really interesting, and it actually stopped me from writing like escapist like fantasy and like genre fiction, and like it made me just stick to just more grounded like drama.
Wow.
And stuff for a very long time.
Okay. That's interesting.
Also, the
movie
soundtrack bangs, and it was like my 9th most listened to album this year still.
Wow.
Yeah.
The impact.
Thank you, Philly Fromby.
Not technically. I don't know. I don't like counting this as a gay film, though I know many people do, but Pitch Perfect also came out.
Anyway, Wajda.
Oh yeah.
Wajda is not gay, but there is a little subplot which a lot of people don't even realize is supposed to be gay, but there are those girls that get kicked out of the school. I'm fairly certain that they were kicked out because they were lesbians. And Wajda is just such a lovely, lovely film. I remember watching it because I was raised as a Muslim, and I remember like really relating to Wajda, and that she didn't really connect to it in a way, but also like it made her feel good when she was able to read the Quran. Well, like yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. And I love
Haifa Al-Mansour.
Yeah, Haifa Al-Mansour. I love her films. I think she just makes really lovely films.
Yeah.
I wish occasionally she'd stay in her lane a little bit though. The film she made about Napoli Ever After, about the black woman like cutting her hair, while it was like well intentioned, I just feel like
I see.
It was just like
I haven't seen a lot of her other films, so
Ricky Whittle's in that movie.
Nice.
He plays her asshole boyfriend, and I'm like, I'm meant to believe that this literal puppy is an ass. Okay. But anyway, some girls. Yes!
Listen,
some girls.
Saz and Viva were gay. Saz and Viva were gay.
Yes, they were. Also, I just want to say, all you bitches that love Dairy Girls, like, you guys suck because you didn't watch Some Girls.
I mean, the people who are like our age who like Dairy Girls but slept on Some Girls. Like, if you're like, you know, a teenager who likes Dairy Girls, that's fine because that's what you have access to.
Yeah.
And it's relatable for you. But like the older people,
some girls,
the oldens like us,
the elder gays. No, I hate that
we
word.
are not. Do
we
not
are not
say that.
No, we're not. We're not. That was like an ironic use of that term. But like Some Girls was an amazing show. It was about 4 girls. They were like working class Britain. Saz was. She's Pakistani, isn't she, in that show? Is she Pakistani?
I forget. She's South Asian. Main character Viva is black.
Then you've got Amber and Holly, who are white, and like they are, but they're so funny. I love them so much. Yeah,
that was the best teenage girl shenanigans.
It really was.
It was like the In-Betweeners, but with girls, and just so much better.
Also, Jackie Van Beek plays the PE teacher in that show. She's awesome. But I love this show because it has a wonderful plot line where Saz thinks that she might be into girls, and I think it's really funny the way she's trying to go about.
And she's just like, I watched Black Swan last night to get myself ready.
But so many things that Saz says are so relatable because Saz is South Asian, and this is that scene where they both want to date the same guy, and she's like, well, you've got to give me a week's warning before we go on the date, though, because I got to de-hairify myself.
I know.
The relatability of that. Oh my goodness. Some Girls was amazing. It was only 3 seasons, and there's only about, 6 or 8 episodes in each season. There's not many. But it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And had like a lot of positive messages, I felt, for young girls. The whole episode on masturbation is like one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen of a show. Yeah. It's still to this day one of my favorite shows. Honorable mentions. Oh, wait, no. There was a couple of, before we get into that, there are a couple of significant things that happened in 2012 that when I was looking up stuff for this.
Oh, so, I forgot Glee.
Yeah, that's
whatever.
Fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Frank Ocean and Azalea Banks both came out in 2012.
I do remember this.
Both of them, the bicons they are, came out in this most sacred year of 2012. The world was meant to end in 2012. Do you remember that? They even made a movie like about how it ended.
Yeah.
Yep. One of my favorite albums ever came out in the year of 2012, and that is Origin of Love by Mika, who is all y'all's other favorite gay Lebanese person. Yes, and I love that album. But another significant thing happened in 2012 was when we started talking to each other online. Yes. And we started talking to each other because, and we haven't mentioned this yet, but because Elementary came out this year in 2012.
No.
Yes, it did.
Okay. First, I can't believe you're like you're messing up our like meeting story.
Our origin stuff.
I can't.
All right, yeah, here
I cannot abide by this.
We're like a married couple. Like, that's not how we met.
So season 2 of Sherlock had just come out. Mary, who loves Irene Adler.
I do.
I who love Irene Adler. We. I who made a lot of gifts of Irene Adler and of Adlock. Yeah, I remember Mary messaging me like, I really like your gifts of this show. And I remember messaging her, I'm like, I really like the fanfic that you write. And yeah.
I used to still have that message, and then Tumblr deleted it very recently.
No!
I was very upset, but anyway.
Yeah, that was a time. We were unfortunately stuck in an awful fandom.
We were.
We were also stuck in an awful subculture of an awful fandom as well, which was very toxic and very homophobic.
Yeah,
and
very everything. Like, they were literally.
I think back at this, like the racism.
Oh, the Adlock subculture, and yes, I'm going to mention them by name because I don't care. Like they. They are honestly, for the most part, there are a couple of people who weren't, but for the most part, Nina! We love Nina. For the most part, are just made up of, like, horny, racist, straight women, homophobic,
lesbophobic.
Yeah, and it's horrible, though, because what else would you expect from a relationship that had been written like that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe we were too silly to think that, to expect better. Yeah. But, you know, no matter how cringy, like, when I think back on that time and how cringy it was, I'm grateful for it, because without it, I wouldn't have met you. So, Elementary also started that same year.
Yes! Oh, God.
And that was also one of the first conversations I remember having with you online. Because I remember you were like, messaged me, you were like, you like Elementary as well? That you were like, you're such a babe. And I was like, I am such a babe for liking Elementary.
I don't remember this at all, but sure. That sounds like something I'd say.
Yeah, you were like, you're a babe for liking Elementary. I'm like, damn right I'm a babe for liking Elementary. The taste.
Yeah, I love Lucy Liu.
We love
Johnny Lee Miller. Yep. We really loved Elementary.
Queer platonic icon.
Shut up! No, do not use that word. I know I love to make fun of you and make you cringe using that word to describe them, but no.
I'm turning it on.
We do not validate that actual term.
Like, whenever
if you ever hear us say it, it's ironic.
It's ironic. Also, for people that unironically use that term, you're just talking about friendship. That's what you're talking about. Like, just say friendship.
Yeah.
Like just say it. Okay.
I will say, though, about Sherlock, like, even though it was awful, Lara Pulver, while she's not technically my gay awakening, and I was already obsessed with many other women before, like, Lara Pulver as Irene Adler got me to, like, finally admit out loud to myself that I liked girls. So, honorable mention to Lara Pulver. What else is 2012? I've just got my honorable mentions of straight movies. Skyfall, The Place Beyond the Pines, and The Master.
Oh,
what have you got?
I have got Beasts of the Southern Wild, which is one of my favorite movies. I just love it, everything about it.
Was Looper from 2012?
Looper was 2012. Yes, it was, actually.
Yes, Looper. I did like Looper.
Looper was 2012. The Sapphires is one of my favorite Australian films. It came out. Oh, this is not really. I don't actually like this movie, but I think conceptually it's like quite a funny film. Like Magic Mike came out that year, and it's honestly like a comedy.
Oh, Life of Pi. No, that was 2013. Was it? Yeah, it was 2012. Life of Pi. I must have broken up with my boyfriend at this time, because I remember going to see Life of Pi with another boy for the first time, and he tried to kiss me during the scene where he's telling the boat company people, his story, and I hated it so much that I just went to go see the movie again by myself.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. All right, 2013.
2013,
I just want to say, apart from meeting you, I really didn't like 2013 as a year for myself personally.
We didn't meet in 2013.
We met up in real life in 2013.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. We met after I was turned 18. I remember this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, and that was at the end of 2014. So we met in 2015.
Wow, that's so long. We were talking to each other for so long before we actually. That's like crazy. Okay, never mind. Oh, we started Skyping in 2013.
We still use Skype. That's.
And I remember one night we sat up for like 8 hours because we found that website that was like how much Sherlock costumes cost.
Yes! Oh, and it made us so mad.
It made us so angry because like all of his dressing gowns are worth like so much money, and also Irene Adler's shoes in that one scene where she's naked cost like so much money. I just like
Louis Vuittons.
No,
Louboutins.
And 2013 is honestly a very mixed bag for me. It's a mixed bag.
Okay, I watched 2 films that were actually gay in that year, and then the rest were like afterwards. Oh, I watched technically 3 films.
I had a boyfriend in 2013. Also had crippling anxiety and depression. And yes,
me too.
Those things were inextricably linked to one another.
I see.
Without going too much into it because I don't like talking about it very much. But yeah, 2013 also was my first year of university. It was very stressful for me. A lot was happening. I wasn't handling it that well, if I'm being perfectly honest, but that's okay. Friendly, like, just a friendly thing, It's okay if you get out of school and you're not handling it well. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who handles getting out of school well.
No.
Even if you hate school, I don't think people handle it well, because we are part of that structured thing for so long, and then to just be released into the world like, there you go.
Yeah.
It's quite traumatic in a way.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another thing for another time. 2013, I found my favorite show in the whole world came out in 2013, and that is Selfie.
Yes!
Selfie, oh my goodness. Selfie made me realize I was in love with Karen Gillan. Which
John Cho is excellent
and
in
John
that show
Cho is
as well.
excellent. It's not, I don't think it has any gay stuff in it. No. I mean, I think Eliza is bi, but like...
You think Eliza? I thought Henry was bi.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like a modern take of My Fair Lady.
It's a modern take of Pygmalion, actually, which is modern, which is a My Fair Lady. It was
like, his name is literally Henry Higgins,
and her name is literally Eliza Dooley, like Eliza Doolittle.
Yeah.
But it's a very wonderful story. It's a wonderful take. They deal with basically like the bias of each generation against social media. So it deals with millennials' glorification of it, essentially, but also deals with the skepticism of it and treats those things both like with an equal amount of criticism, which I think a lot of shows now made 7 years like can't do. Like I think it's pretty insane that Selfie managed to do this in 2013. Managed to make a show that was nuanced in its dealing of social media. Like, it didn't categorically say it was bad, but didn't categorically say it was good. It was just like, the way you use it matters. But it also had an ensemble cast of mostly like people of color. Yeah. And it's also just hilarious and sweet and lovely. Yeah. I never forgive because it got cancelled after its second episode. Not fair.
Just not fair.
Just say you hate women and POC and fun and wholesomeness and go. And it's also, it just blows my mind that it also was cancelled, because it came out in the height of that era of shows of like millennial women dealing with their lives. Like, it came out during the height of New Girl and all these other shows that would like the fact that this show didn't take off, like, it's always a mystery to me.
So sad.
It's so sad, but I love it. It's not gay at all, but it's important to me, so I'm mentioning it.
It's important to me. What about the greatest cinematic masterpiece of all time, Mortal Instruments: City of Bones?
Oh, I love it so much. I recently rewatched this, and when I say very recently, I mean like 2 nights ago. I had a double feature with myself. I was with my friend, and we both watched it together. We watched that and Anna in the Apocalypse, which we'll mention later. Yep. The Mortal Instruments: City of Bones is a bold YA movie, and I say it's bold because it knew exactly what it was. It went in like, we are a corny ass.
Exactly. This is a corny story based on a corny book written by a woman who is being sued for
ripping off
plagiarism
a Draco and Ginny. Is Ginny? Yeah, Draco and Ginny fanfiction.
Yeah.
And the movie embraces that beautifully.
I love Lily Collins in that.
Yes, also, this is like a year I like realized I was in love with Lily Collins and Karen Gillan. What a good year it was for me.
Nice. I met my girlfriend in last year.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Also, just a side note though, Mortal Instruments is technically gay. We don't like to talk about it because it's terrible, but like, there's some gay rep there.
Yeah,
is it good?
Is it good? No.
No, but it's there.
Godfrey Girl Pretty? Yes.
Yes.
But also, I am...
Rest in peace.
I'm still... Oh my god.
I actually cried watching it the other night because I was like, oh, I like... Because I loved... I know a lot of people were getting mad because people were like, oh, the guy who played Magnus is dead. But like, honestly, if that's the first place you saw him, like, you can be sad about that. His portrayal of Magnus made me love the Mortal Instruments and made me go and read it. And Magnus was actually the first character I ever read, like, in a book or anything that used the word bisexual. So...
Interesting. I remember... Magnus was the first Indonesian bisexual character that I'd ever come across with in anything. I have always been a little bit upset that in the adaptations he's never been cast as an Indonesian man.
Godfrey Gao is Taiwanese.
Godfrey Gao is Taiwanese, and Harry Shum Jr. is I forget what he is, but he's not Indonesian.
Yeah.
But you know, what do you expect from Cassandra Clare?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I expected anything better, but like, yeah.
Apparently, they're written a lot better in the Shadowhunters TV series. Like, she used that as like a way to correct a lot of the shit she did in the movies but whatever.
But
I mean,
I don't have time for that.
The sin is committed. It's fine. But yes, the Mortal Instruments we love.
I watched Kill Your Darlings that year. That movie with Daniel Radcliffe, where he's got curly hair.
Daniel Radcliffe looks so good in that movie.
He does. He looks adorable. I love Daniel Radcliffe. King of Range. He has so much fun.
So excited for Miracle Workers season 2.
Yes.
Which is technically not a season 2, but still excited.
Yeah. 2013 is also the year that my favorite TV series, Utopia by Dennis Kelly, came out, starring Fiona O'Shaughnessy, Adil Akhtar, Nathan Stewart Jarrett, Geraldine James, and a few other great people. That's a show that came out, and I will forever be bitter. What else?
I want to mention this because I think it was important culturally. I don't think it wasn't important to me, and it wasn't a thing that I found significant to myself, but I think it's important to mention that Orange is the New Black came out that year.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not, however we feel about Orange is the New Black, unfortunately, it is an important show in terms of the 2010s.
Yeah.
And gay rep.
Yeah. Didn't House of Cards come out as well?
No, House of Cards came out before that, I thought. I don't want to say anything about Orange is the New Black.
That was indeed a show that was made.
Yep, sure was.
2013 is also when Da Vinci's Demons came out, the Stars TV series that straightwashes Leonardo da Vinci. Well, not completely straightwashed, but like his main end-all be-all love interest is a woman, which is really sad. Yeah, I watched it for Lara Pulver, and I loved Blake Ritson in it, and Greg Chillen. So that was a thing that happened, and Da Vinci's Demons is actually a really cool concept. I would actually love if it was like just remade without the straightwashing and the Islamophobia.
Also, a dishonorable mention that I wanted to talk about was Hannibal. I think a lot of LGBT TV in the early 2010s can be characterized by a lot of queer baiting between men.
Yeah.
That in a way I feel sad about, but I also...
Yeah, during 2013... Oh, a dishonorable mention from 2013, which I don't really want to even regard as an LGBT film, is Nymphomaniac by Lars von Trier, which I only watched because I fucking hated Lars von Trier, but I felt at the time like in order for me to justifiably criticize him, I needed to watch at least one film by him. So I watched that one because that was the most recent one that had come out. Yeah, I will never get those like 4 hours of my life back.
I thought you were going to mention the other horrible not LGBT film that came out, Blue is the Warmest Color.
Oh, fuck! Blue is the Warmest Color is just terrible. If you meet a lesbian or a bi woman that likes that movie, like, run.
My favorite thing in anything is in the bisexual when the friend, I forget his name.
Yeah, when he's just like, what did you guys think of the film Blue is the Warmest Color? Do you think it was a good representation of lesbians in their relationships? And they're all just like,
and just to contextualize, he's in a lesbian club, basically.
Yeah.
He's in a lesbian nightclub. Mm-hmm. He's just surrounded by lesbians and bi women, and they all look at him like with the most dead inside glances, like when he says that.
Yeah. But yeah, Blue is the Warmest Color was an awful film. I feel so sad for what happened to Lea Seydoux and Adele Exarchopoulos on that set. I hate the director. He is a creep. Mm-hmm. I can't believe he's still making films. I also can't believe that story anyway because it's so gross and pedophilic and just disgusting and... Like, it was really damaging, I feel. Like Black Swan, it had a very big impact on like film gays of our generation because it was really damaging seeing such graphic scenes such as that at that age. Obviously, I was too young to be watching it, but also like it was being shoved down my throat because it was the only thing that we really had. Everyone was like, you have to watch this it was really damaging and it really messed up kind of the way that I thought about sex.
I am sorry to all the Woolloowa who were exposed to it. I am very glad to say that I've never watched it and I don't plan to.
Do not.
No, I never want to. The most homophobic thing Netflix ever does to me is when every week I check the LGBT films that have been uploaded, and that's usually the first one it spits out at me. And I'm like,
put the thumbs down on
Don't you know me by now, Netflix? Another dishonorable mention for 2013 goes to Dallas Buyers Club, which we've already talked about on our previous episode. I don't think we need to explain why that movie is horrible. It is horrible, and it's not really an LGBT film at all. Amazing that they made a whole film about AIDS and the impact of AIDS and didn't really... No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
Anyway, some films that I was obsessed with that year that were good. Stoker.
Nice.
Belle.
Nice.
About Time.
Nice.
The Double.
Nice.
Mary Queen of Scots. The 2013 one by Thomas Imbach, starring Camille Rutherford and Aaron Barnard. Not the Saoirse Ronan one, just to be clear. Yeah, cinema. And also Prisoners.
Oh, yes. Some of my honourable mentions: Only Lovers Left Alive. I was just very gay for Mia that year, so I've got.
And yet you didn't watch Stoker.
I know.
2 months ago.
But I also just didn't want to see Matthew Good do that because I love him. Tracks also is
Yep.
I love Tracks. I like Australian films that are good. Tracks is also a good one. The Family is one of my favourite movies. It's got Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer. They play like a mob family who are in they're very bad at being in witness protection, and it's like one of my favourite comedies. A dishonourable mention this year goes to Her, which it was a film that traumatized me greatly. The only reason I am glad that I saw Her is because it mentally prepared me for that scene in Blade Runner 2049 where he has sex with the hologram, and I was like, yeah, I've already seen this.
I remember liking Her a lot when it came out. I wasn't affected by it at all.
I've not just like recently. I've never walked out of a cinema feeling like so disgusted. I don't know, I just hated it. I wanted to an honourable mention. I know there's issues with this movie, but Pacific Rim was a very fun movie.
That's from 2012.
No, it's not.
I don't know. The thing about Pacific Rim is that everyone was like, oh, this is Transformers for gay people. But actually, it's Neon Genesis Evangelion for straight people. And also, I just will never get over how Guillermo del Toro was like, what? I've never heard of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
What a liar.
As if!
What a liar.
As if!
What an absolute liar.
Yeah.
Let's end this on a high note. Some great music came out in 2013.
Really?
Yes. Hayley Kiyoko released her first EP. So Girls Like Girls came out. Janelle Monáe's second album or third album, I haven't got it in here, but Electric Lady came out.
Ooh.
Which is one of my favourite albums that she did because she collabs with Solange on it. Woo!
All I remember about 2013 was AM.
Oh, yes.
Like about 2013 music, yeah.
Oh, what an album. Oh, and also one of my least favourite movies of all time came out in 2013, Trance.
Oh. I hate that movie, like, could have been Gone Girl before Gone Girl happened, but then they did that weird shit with, like, iPads and pubes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Let's move. What a stupid film. 2014. First film up, Paddington.
Woo!
Believe it or not, Paddington is gay.
Yep. He is.
Yeah.
You don't need to elaborate.
Yeah. We also had Desiree Akhavan's directorial debut, Appropriate Behavior, which we have spoken about, which I love. Respire, oh my god. Breathe, directed by Melanie Laurent. The most traumatizing. I don't know, you could argue that it's not gay, but also like it's a horror film that's not really a horror film, but it is like the most horrific film I've ever seen. Just about the relationship of two teenage girls who are best friends and like the obsessiveness, and it gives me so much anxiety to just even think about it. But it's a great film. Lilting came out. This was a good year for Ben Whishaw. Gone Girl came out, which I feel is
significant. It is significant.
Duke of Burgundy came out. I love the Duke of Burgundy. I think it's just such a clever, beautiful film. Mommy came out. Oh, I forgot to mention for 2013 Tom of the Farm. But yeah, anyway, yeah, Mommy came out in 2014. I feel like just one of the best films I've ever seen. Dishonorable mention, Imitation Game.
Yeah. Good, I had that too. Glad you covered it. We've already talked about Imitation Game enough. I'm not going to grace it with another even minute.
Just listen to episode 3.
Yep, so my 2014 list, Penny Dreadful, started in 2014. And say what you will of Penny Dreadful, it was a bold show in that nobody in Penny Dreadful except for Sir Malcolm is straight. It ends terribly. As far as I know, there are only 2 seasons of Penny Dreadful. Yeah. There are some that will tell you there's 3. They're incorrect, those people.
Girlhood.
Yes, I have Girlhood. Sorry, go.
I didn't start watching this until 2016, but this is the year when BoJack Horseman started.
Yes, it is.
And that's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
It is one of the best. We're probably going to do a mini episode when BoJack...
When it
finishes.
Yeah.
Because we love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney Freeland, who I've mentioned before on this podcast, she's a Native American trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
She had her directorial debut in 2014 as well with Drunktown's Finest. which I think is really great. One of my favorite movies, though I know it's deeply problematic in that it completely almost erases lesbians, Pride.
Yeah.
I know it's a problematic movie, but it was one of the first gay movies that I saw that I actually really, really loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it when it came out, so I didn't see it later on. I saw it when it came out. Also, I've been in love with Faye Marseille since Pride, so though of course she's let me down in later times, which I will talk about, but not right now.
Also, it's really funny how in 2014 there were 2 biopics about Yves Saint Laurent coming out that year. That was pretty funny. Not technically gay. I feel like there's room for subtext in this movie. The Raid 2.
True.
Which is my favorite action movie ever. I love that movie so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love Julia Stell. She really stole my heart. Yeah. Also, the best Hamlet movie adaptation came out in 2014, Heather, which is an Indian puppet, like a South Asian.
Nice. I haven't seen that.
Hamlet.
Big honourable mention goes to What We Do in the Shadows, which, essentially, I feel like the latter half of this decade belongs to What We Do in the Shadows in a way. It got, 2 spin-off series, and they're both excellent, and they're also making the sequel, though I don't know when it's going to come out.
Still making that sequel?
Yeah, they are. They are still
okay.
making it,
Okay.
but it keeps being pushed back because Haque is busy. One of my favourite documentaries, which I know it's a bit silly, but it's one of my favourite documentaries. You can find it on Netflix. It's called Do I Sound Gay? And it's this gay man, and he's trying to figure out why a lot of white gay men sound like that.
I see.
He actually talks to all these linguistics experts and people in the community. It's a very interesting little doco. It's called Do I Sound Gay? And it's looking at the gay community from a linguistic perspective, which I think is a very interesting perspective to look at it from. And it actually
me, I'm a hoe for linguistics.
Yep. And it actually goes into a little bit about how a lot of the gay white gays obviously appropriate black. Like AAVE and a lot of that was started by black trans women. 22 Jump Street is an extremely homophobic movie. I don't know why I've got it on this list. Probably as a dishonorable mention. I don't have many honorable mentions.
Okay, let's move on to 2015. I know what's at the top of your list for 2015.
You
okay?
Do?
I do.
You do?
I do. If it's not on the top of your list, then shame on you, okay?
Oh my god, I'm really scared. Can you just say it? Because I'm really scared now.
7 Days in Hell.
Yes! Yes, it is!
Yes, I knew it!
7 Days in Hell. My favourite mockumentary of all time. I've said this nearly every episode. It is so funny. Also, it's it's kind of gay.
Andy Samberg's character is bi.
Yep.
It's a bit homophobic.
It's the most homophobic and gay mockumentary of all time. It's pretty amazing. It's got the most amazing cast. I love 7 Days in Hell. I watch it every time I need a pick-me-up, and every single time I watch it, it makes me laugh. I never not laugh at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a true testament to its power. Unfortunately for 2015, apart from 7 Days in Hell, I have nothing but dishonorable mentions.
Oh, I've got a few ones that I do like. So
please.
I've got Tangerine, Bessie, How to Win It.
Tangerine, sorry, yeah, I have Tangerine.
How to Win It, Checkers Every Time, The Blue Hour, Nina Forever, Holding the Man, Summertime. Also, Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot!
Mr. Robot is by no means perfect LGBT representation.
But Sam Esmail went off.
No, the writers went off when they decided that there would be no straight women in that show. I love that. And also just some other movies that I loved from that year. Mustang, Mad Max Fury Road, and Piku.
Unfortunately, I have a lot of dishonorable mentions. The Danish Girl, Jenny's Wedding, which is one of the most homophobic movies I've ever seen. It's got Katherine Heigl marrying Alexis Bledel, but the whole movie just focuses on how her homophobic family is trying to come to terms with her marrying a woman. It's also the most boring take you could have done on a gay wedding rom-com.
I've never seen it. I don't want to.
It. Stonewall, obviously.
Oh yeah, no one watched that, so that's fine.
I think it's just
still sucks that it got made.
Another one of my favorite albums, because it's a Micah album, came out this year though, which is No Place in Heaven. Came out in 2015, and I think we would be remiss without mentioning it because it was considered one of the gayest shows when it came out, and that's Sense8.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Sense8.
I mean, people know about Sense8. I don't think we really
I'd
have
say
to
it was
explain
pretty good LGBT representation, but just very racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite thing is that all the Sense8s are bi. Like, I love that for them.
Yeah. Film, which I feel, it wasn't homophobic, but also I just don't like it, and I don't like the way that the community still latches onto it, is Carol.
Yeah,
you knew I was that. Yeah, they have no chemistry.
Nope. It's the most boring film I've ever watched in my life.
Just, I really wish people would move on from that film. I really wish people would get over Kate named her son after Roman Blanchett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some honourable mentions. Oh, this was the year we went to see the Witch together, and that was really funny because we both thought it was going to be so scary, and we were both so bored during it. I think that's really funny. It was.
Yeah.
We kept waiting for it to be scary, and it never was.
Kept waiting for something to fucking happen.
Two of my favourite weird movies came out in 2015, which was The Lobster and The Fits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love The Fits.
The Fits is a great little movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Meyers came for all our hearts again with The Intern, though it's not as good.
I didn't watch that.
It's nice. It's a nice movie.
Because you were talking about like your favorite weird films, like The Lure. In terms of the scope of cinema, The Lure isn't the best film, but it's certainly the best Polish man-eating lesbian mermaid musical that's ever been made.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
The Dressmaker also came out.
Oh
this
yeah.
year, which I don't know if you can technically count as an LGBT film because of Hugo Weaving's character.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But it's definitely a lovely Australian film to watch, and I love the ending, and I love Kate Winslet in it.
Even though she betrayed us afterwards.
I did have one more thing to say.
If it wasn't Kate Winslet in that movie, it would have been Cate Blanchett. So now we're at 2016, which was the best year of the decade for film, for LGBT film.
Bold.
I'm not wrong, though.
You're not wrong.
What's at the top of my list? You know what's at the top of my list for this year.
Oh, do I? Oh, let me think. Oh, what could possibly be at the top of your list for 2015?
2016.
Sorry, 2016. For 2016. Wouldn't possibly be that movie, oh gosh, what's it called? About the two women who are lesbians and they're taking revenge, and it's, that's right, The Handmaiden? Yeah! I can't wait till we do a Handmaiden. I can't wait.
The greatest film ever made.
The Handmaiden.
I love that people are asking me when are we going to talk about The Handmaiden. It's coming next year. The
Handmaiden is Dee's favourite movie.
I own like 9 copies of it.
Yep.
Like different
she
editions.
Loves it.
I love it. Yeah, it made me so happy when I watched it. It's just...
It is a great movie.
I don't want to start. I'm scared to start talking about it.
We won't talk about it here. We're going to do a future episode on it. If you want to know more about it, highly suggest going and finding it and watching it.
Watch it if you're over 18.
Yes, of course. Yes. Don't watch it if you're under 18.
I don't think we have a lot of under 18 listeners anyway. But just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
Yes, it's very sad though.
I have
but
a lot
also
of...
it's wonderful.
But also, let's not forget the other great movie that came out.
Moonlight.
Moonlight!
I love Moonlight so much. It's so beautiful, just in every aspect.
Love Moonlight. Love Moonlight. Love every...
Remember how we wanted to see Moonlight before the Oscars ceremony? And we paid fucking $40 per ticket to go see it? Because that was the only way to go see it here in Sydney. It was in gold
class, wasn't it?
Yeah, gold class. That was the only way to go see Moonlight before the Oscars. Something super sad which I realised in the last year or so is that no one actually watched Moonlight. Ashton Sanders and Trevante Rhodes blowing up with more recent films that they did, and like people being like, oh wow, these people are really cool. It made me realize, like, oh my god, no one watched Moonlight, which is so upsetting. It's so upsetting and just unfair. Like, obviously Mahershala is my favourite part of that movie, but there were a lot of talented people working on that movie, and a lot of people like missed out on that excellence for quite a while until they were able to get better roles. Even Jharrel Jerome as well. Like, people missed out on knowing about these extremely talented, amazing people because they were homophobic. I'm very upset about the Oscar ceremony that year. I'm really
it's
upset
an absolute, honestly,
that it had to share its
I'm
spotlight.
I'm still angry. I can't believe they did that to Barry Jenkins. It's horrible. It's horrible. But also, I hate to say it, but it is sort of still funny. Like,
at the time, I had a very immature response to it where I just thought it was funny, but like, thinking back, it's just really
one of my
sad.
favourite photos, though, that came out of that debacle is the photo of Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
on stage, just like going like, he's just laughing. I like.
Yeah, no, he explained like a few days later. He was just like, everyone was like, why are you laughing that bad? Like, your movie lost. And he's just like, no, like everyone was running around and I thought that someone died. So when it turned out that they just announced the wrong film, like, I thought it was really funny.
Oh, Ryan. Dirk Gently also started that year on Netflix.
Okay.
And I know it's not technically gay, but it is gay because Samuel Barnett is there and he's in love. They're in love, okay?
Okay.
I know.
San Junipero
happened
this year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts
we saw Google
about...
kiss a woman.
Yeah, that was a lot for me in 80s attire as well. And like, yeah, just... Oh my god, it's like San Junipero, like someone just like extracted it from my brain. Yeah. And just, it was so specifically like made for me. I loved it. It's Only the End of the World came out, an Xavier Dolan film. The Untamed came out. That's a really cool film. If you liked Possession, you should watch that. Amores Urbanos, Restless Love is a great Brazilian film that came out that year as well. What else have you got?
Gaycation, which I know has its issues, but it was Ellen Page's documentary series about gay cultures all over the world. I really enjoyed it, and it started that year. Obviously it had some
I have some dishonorable mentions for this year as much as I love it.
Please share.
Okay, first of all, The Neon Demon. The Neon Demon tried to do a similar thing that Black Swan did, where they showed a lesbian scene in the trailer, and then when a bunch of lesbians actually went to go see this movie, that scene shocked us because it was actually a rape scene. And then the other lesbian scene was a necrophilia scene. Just disgusting. That was, probably the worst cinema experience I've ever had. Literally, like, I got up as the credits rolled and went to the bathroom and vomited.
Oh my gosh.
It was disgusting. Does Suicide Squad count?
Yes. Yes. Because Harley Quinn is bi, and people take that away from her all the time, but she's bi, and Margot Robbie is the best Harley Quinn that's ever existed, and I'm so excited for Birds of Prey, you'll have no idea. No idea. But anyway.
Also, American Gods.
Oh, I suppose. Yes. Actually, no. American Gods Season 1 was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing, but it was okay.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said about it.
There's a lot to be said about two. They're both Muslim, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
two Arab Muslim men being in love on screen. It's very big.
Yeah.
Very big deal. Also, Halle Kiyoko released Citrine, the EP.
Yeah.
In 2016, and it was great. Also, Cupcake released the greatest song of all time, which is LGBt.
Yes!
Also, our favourite short film came out in 2016, Dawn of the Deaf.
Yes! Oh my god, that was so fun.
Which also has a lot of gay characters in it.
Yes.
Like, when you watch it, there's a lot of gay characters in Dawn of the Deaf, and that's really awesome. This is a weird mention. I think we should invent a category which is weird mentions that goes to Swiss Army Man. Yeah, okay. I think that deserves a mention. My favorite quote about that movie is like, I think it's Paul Dano, and he's like, we didn't mean to make a like gay necrophiliac love story, but we did. And I think there's no other way. I love everything about Swiss Army Man. I love the score. The acting.
The score is lovely. I love the thing about Swiss Army Man is like, if you just got a bunch of really obscenely talented people make a really weird movie.
The production design is beautiful and everything. I love Swiss Army Man. I love it.
Yeah. Also, I love the animated film Your Name, which I do think is gay. I think Mitsuha was gay and that Taki wasted a lot of time writing I love you on her hand instead of just his name because she was gay and in love with that woman. Hated
in the Nation. We've talked about San Junipero, but I think Hated in the Nation is also a worthy mention because I do believe that Faye Marsay and Kelly MacDonald are
They
gay.
really were. That was actually my favorite episode of that season.
I agree. It's a great episode.
Like, San Junipero is nice, but it's not like...
It's not really a Black Mirror episode, honestly.
Yeah, nothing... I feel like nothing post the last half of season 3 is really a Black Mirror episode.
No.
Really.
No.
It lost its way.
Nocturnal Animals is one of my favourite films that came out that year, but...
You like Nocturnal Animals?
I do.
I love Nocturnal... I thought you were too... I thought you weren't pretentious enough to like Nocturnal Animals.
No, I can occasionally be pretentious
I love
enough.
that.
I love Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, I remember in 2010, I did watch A Single Man and not understanding it and just being like, whatever about it, even though it's from 2009. I do remember that. But then, yeah, I did rewatch A Single Man and loved it so much as well.
Okay, I have a lot to say about Deadpool, but Deadpool came out that year, and I was very excited because Deadpool, I grew up loving Deadpool because he was, like, bi, and he was always talking about the fact that he loved men and women, and then Ryan Reynolds really tried hard. He really did try hard to make Deadpool, like, give Deadpool a boyfriend.
Are you sure?
He did. He talks about it a lot.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I know you don't like Ryan Reynolds, but he did actually really try hard to do that. And they actually told him no for the second movie, and they were like, no, we're just going to make Negasonic gay, and that's it. And he was like, but I am literally playing one of the most iconic bisexual Marvel characters and you're not letting me do it. And they were like, yeah, we'll do it, but you have to make it into a joke. It's horrible. It's horrible. But I still have I love Deadpool. I hate that they did him like that.
We saw Deadpool together. You took me to see Deadpool. You'd already seen it.
I had already seen it.
And I remember coming up to Newcastle because you were like, the movie tickets are $6.
Which they are.
Yeah, that was a movie that was made.
Yep, sure was. And I'm very upset by it. Also, one of my favourite documentaries came out this year in 2016, and that's Kedi, which is about the cats of Istanbul. And it's just a whole documentary about the cats and how everyone loves the cats. And my favourite cat is this one. I think her name is Sefet. And they're basically the first thing they say about Sefet when she comes on screen, they're like, she is the neighbourhood psychopath. And I love her.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Hunt for the Wilder People, yes. Which is basically the film that shot Taika to fame. I think What We Do in the Shadows was a cult.
Not Thor?
Not Thor. This came out before Thor. Yeah, but this was, Hunt for the Wilder People was the reason he got involved with Thor.
I see.
Yeah, so I think...
Really? I feel like he was signed up before that.
No, he wasn't.
Because of What We Do in the Shadows.
No, Disney said they signed him up because of Hunt for the Wilder People.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, yep. So that's 2016. I don't think I have anything other... Oh, there was a show that came out in 2016 called You, Me, Her.
Why did you... No one watched that.
No one watched it, but I watched the first season recently, and it's, like, quite a funny premise, but, like, it's also a very biphobic premise, so anyway.
One thing that's really great as I was making my list is that as the years progressed, I had more favorites.
Me too!
A lot more favorites that I had easier access to that I was able to watch as they came out, and I'm just really grateful for that. In the past decade, I love that how much LGBT cinema has really progressed in this last decade. It hasn't all been great, but it's really been lovely, and I think like we peaked in 2016.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
Okay.
Just because I have a lot to say about 2017 and 2018.
Okay, I have a lot to say about 2017. Like there's a lot more films, definitely. I feel like in terms of quantity, it's pretty great for those for these last few years. I feel like quality peaked in 2016.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Okay?
Yes.
What's your first film in 2017?
My first film, and it's probably not, but it's just listed first because it's the first one that came to my head. First one is God's Own Country.
Yes!
Yes!
I love
God's Own Country.
So much.
Next up, I've got Thoroughbreds.
Yes!
Love Thoroughbreds so much. It was actually meant to be gay. Go look up the script.
Oh, you forgot Paddington 2.
Oh, no, that's the next one.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I didn't forget. How dare you accuse me of forgetting Paddington? Paddington 2 is next. I've also got Marlena the Murderer in 4 acts.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for including that. That's my fave.
I've got my favourite gay film probably of that year, which is Good Manners.
Yes!
I love Good Manners.
That is a good weird mention. That is just a crazy, crazy film, and I love especially in those last few years that we're able to see like genre LGBT films.
Hell yeah.
As well.
And that's a horror sort of comedy. Disobedience.
Oof.
I love Disobedience so much. Really appreciate that 2017 was the year that Rachel Weisz was like, I don't want to be straight anymore. And she did.
In movies.
And
then she did 2 lesbian films and then she was like, no, that's it.
That's it. I've got it out of my system.
Anyways,
now.
Marvel, give me your money now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good for her. I mean, she's got kids now. She got to support her 1 children. My favorite film, one of my absolute favorite films of all time, came out in 2017. Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yes.
It's a gay film.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's a gay film.
It is. I love the lesbian character in Anna and the Apocalypse. Like she's so tiny and full of rage, and it's
And she lives.
It's adorable, and she lives. I won't spoil it, but yeah, she lives, and the only other two characters that live are both bi.
Pretty sure. Also, it's we've mentioned this before, but in Anna and the Apocalypse, the main character Anna is played by Ella Hunt.
Yes.
And if you liked Dickinson, if you liked her in Dickinson, highly recommend checking her out in Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Because she's amazing in it.
Yeah.
Also, the songs in Anna and the Apocalypse, because in case you didn't know, Anna and the Apocalypse is a
zombie Christmas musical.
High school Christmas musical. And it's awesome. It's written by the guy who made the Ryan Gosling Won't Eat My Cereal vines. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to him. But it's a great little movie. I'm still mad that it didn't get distribution wider and a lot of more people didn't see it because it's such a wonderful
It's so much
movie.
fun.
Dee hadn't actually heard of it at all, and when she invited me down to come watch things at the British Film Festival, she was like, "Is there anything you want to see?" And I was like, "Oh, Anna and the Apocalypse." She was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Just come and see it." And she really liked it. So I previously gave everyone a little teaser as to when Faye Marseille betrayed me. And that took place in the year of our Lord 2017, when she partook in a little monstrosity, or film by the name of You, Me and Him. I was unwitting to this at the time, and I was not privy to this betrayal until 2019 when I watched You, Me and Him. Look, let's just say I have some questions for Daisy Atkins, such as, like, why do you hate me? This movie is just deliriously homophobic and biphobic, but it's one of those strange movies that is seemingly made with the intention not to be either of those things. Anyway, Faye Marseille plays a character who is clearly bi, and after breaking up with her girlfriend, she has a one-night stand with David Tennant and gets, like, pregnant from that. And then the whole movie is, like, her girlfriend being heaps horrible to her, being like, how could you cheat on me even though we broke up? And I just, look, I think it took years of my life watching that movie. If you want to be as confused as I am, just go read the plot, or maybe even subject yourself to it for an hour and a half. But yeah, Faye Marseille, I don't know why you did that to me, and yeah, I'm sorry to everyone who's ever seen this movie. And David Tennant, you're on thin freaking ice, mate. I, no joke, have brought this movie up in therapy. Because I'm so confused. Okay, moving on. And this is a sort of dishonorable mention, but it's a weird one. It's not a weird one in the weird sense, it's a weird one. The Marsha P. Johnson documentary that came out on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that was important in the sense that a lot of people weren't aware of Marsha. Like, a lot of people learnt about Marsha because of that documentary, but at the same time, Netflix stole it from the trans black woman that actually made it. Tourmaline? The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson, which was the name of the documentary on Netflix, was supposedly credited to a man called David France, but a black trans woman by the name, it just says her name is Tourmaline here. She has tried to sue them over basically stealing her work. Yeah. There were whole sections of that documentary that were lifted from the documentary that she made. And her documentary, I believe, was actually just called Pay It No Mind.
I see.
It's horrible because Netflix essentially stole this documentary from her. She is trying to pay rent and like can't even get money for rent, and Netflix stole this documentary off her. So I think it's awful. It's a horrible thing because obviously it was stolen. Like, for Netflix to produce a documentary about a black trans woman stolen from a black trans woman, I think that just about sums up who Netflix is as a company. At the same time, I think it's a weird thing because it made a lot of people aware of Marsha and what she did contribute to the community and the history. So it's a horrible situation. But in that same vein, though, I have some lovely ones I want to mention. I want to mention Saturday Church.
Yes, that's on my list too.
Yeah. A Fantastic Woman.
Yes, that's also on my list.
And in terms of TV series, I want to mention One Day at a Time started that year. One Day at a Time has one of my favorite.
The military propaganda show.
Yeah, look, I know. But the daughter's not in the military. And she's gay. She has a lovely coming out storyline.
You know, the fact that the daughter is gay is part of the military.
I know. I'm not an idiot. It's still a good show. Be a critical thinker, and when you watch it, her partner in the movie, the Elena, the daughter, is also non-binary. And I love One Day at a Time. It's got its issues, obviously, but I do love it. One thing I love that happened in this decade is that we got Pearl Mackie playing Bill Potts in Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
And she... I don't want to say she's the first gay companion because that is not true. I think people that say that are heaps biphobic to Jack Harkness, and I don't like those people that say that. But she is the first lesbian companion on Doctor Who. And
that was a good season.
And that season of Doctor Who was so lovely.
I love PCAPs.
I love PCAPs. I love the Woolloowa Mullum solidarity of that series. Of them, like, I love the way she was like, I'm talking to this girl and she's way out of my league. And he's like, no, don't talk like that. You can do it. You can ask her out. I loved that. I loved that for Doctor Who. Of course, it's a double-edged sword. It was given to us by Stephen Moffat.
Okay. For my list that you haven't already mentioned, I've got Tom of Finland. That's like a beautiful biopic. I've got Sisterhood, which is a Hong Kong Macanese film, lesbian film. It's extremely sad, but it's honestly just so beautiful. I've got Malila, The Farewell Flower, The Shape of Water. I've got Novitiate. I've got Beats Per Minute by Robin Campillo. That was beautiful. The Wound. I've got Okja in there. Also, Mary doesn't like this movie, but I do. Phantom Thread. Thelma as well. That was a cool movie. Also, just the villainess is gay. Okay. Dishonorable mention. Call Me By Your Name.
I knew you were going to do that. That's what I've got here too.
Yeah, let's not elaborate.
2018. Oh, just quickly though, in 2017, I just wanted to mention Uncharted Lost Legacy. The video game came out, and it's very gay, and I love it. That's all I wanted to say. All right, 2018.
Okay, so obviously the best film of 2018 and the best LGBT film was The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Desiree Akhavan.
I thought you were going to say Rafiki, but I agree with you.
I love The Miseducation of Cameron Post so much.
It's a great film.
I love Rafiki. Love, Simon also came out this year, and while Love, Simon does have its problems, like, I feel like, you know, what the release of a film like Love, Simon represents is very important. It was definitely the best movie-going experience that I had watching Love, Simon at Mardi Gras Film Festival that year. Because just imagine just being in a packed cinema full of gays, all, like, laughing and crying and sobbing and just yelling and cheering all at the same time. Yeah, I really love that. And I love that Keenan Lonsdale is in it, who I've loved since Dance Academy.
Nice.
You had The Favourite.
That's right, yep.
Yep, you had Hearts Beat Loud. You had The Heiresses, which won Sydney Film Festival. That's an amazing film. Rafiki. Knife Plus Heart. We the Animals. The Party's Just Beginning, which is Karen Gillan's directorial debut. Duck Butter.
I love you, Miss Karen. Yes.
Can You Ever Forgive Me? Benjamin. You know what? I am going to put The Death and Life of John F. Donovan on this list because I really loved it. Did I say Hearts Beat Loud?
I was going to say it, but yeah, Hearts Beat Loud is another one, which is... I think it's a very soft, very gentle, like, little movie.
Samui Song, that's a great Thai film. Desiree Akhavan's series, The Bisexual, also came out this year. Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, get on it, obviously. In 2018, Queer Eye
That's what I wanted
got rebooted, which we do want to do an episode on later because there are positives and negatives to Queer Eye.
Pose was made by Ryan Murphy. We've talked about it before on the podcast. It's brilliant. It doesn't get the recognition it deserves.
No.
Not the proper recognition it should have.
It's not perfect. I feel like this season was a bit weaker than the first. But yeah, it's just amazing that we have a show with like 5 black and brown trans women as leads. That's amazing.
My next on this list is Dirty Computer, which was the visual album that Janelle Monáe released, which I think really made her go into the mainstream, I feel like. I feel like a lot more people listen to Janelle Monáe.
I feel like she's still not mainstream, though.
She's more mainstream than she was, though. And she came out that year.
Oh, yeah.
And that was great. But I feel like a lot of us who'd been listening
and Tessa Thompson did, too.
I feel like a lot of us who'd been listening to Janelle Monáe for a while, though, were like, yeah. Yeah, we've been new.
We did get Miss Sherlock.
Yes!
It's a Japanese drama adaptation of Sherlock Holmes, and it's modern, and Sherlock Holmes is played by Yuko Takeuchi, and who is beautiful. And she's a lesbian, but not with Watson. I like to pretend that Rinko Kikuchi's character is
Irene. And we got the lesbian adblock we deserve.
2018 is also the year that the Picnic at Hanging Rock miniseries came out, and it's so lesbian.
Dishonorable mention to Bohemian Rhapsody,
and Vita and Virginia,
aka Biphobian Rhapsody, and Vita and Virginia, which also came out this year. But I think we had a lot more good than bad in 2018.
Also, Tell It to the Bees.
I heard that was bad.
That movie was bad. But yeah, other films that I like was Dear Ex. I loved that. Carmen and Lola was lovely. Manta Ray. The Third Wife, The Night Comes for Us, Sorry to Bother You, Shoplifters Searching, Black Klansman, Destination Wedding, and Terminal.
Yes, all your honorable mentions are the same as mine. Also, just some music mentions. Hayley Kiyoko finally released her first full album, which is Expectations, which I love the collab song she does with Kalani, who is also bi. Also, this decade generally was like a great year for bi women of color in music. You had like Rina Sawayama, Mitski. You had Janelle Monáe, also had Victoria Monet.
Anna Wintour came out. The song, I mean, not the person. Yeah, continue.
Raveena, bi women were making some great music in the 10s. What can I say? Especially bi women of color. That was 2018, and that brings us, finally, without much further ado, to 2019. And I think it's very clear what the best film of 2019, LGBT-wise, was.
Yep. Portrait of a Lady on Fire!
Oh my gosh, one day we'll do a whole episode on this.
Yeah, once more people
out.
have seen it, in Australia, I know it comes out at Christmas or on Boxing Day. If you missed it at Sydney Film Festival, and if you missed it at Queer Screen Film Festival, it's going to be, that's when it's getting a wide release here. I really liked Pain and Glory. I thought that was great. Rocket Man, which we've already spoken about before, was lovely.
Ek Ladki, I can't say the full
Ek
name.
Ladki Ko Dekha To Aisa Laga. It has its problems, definitely, but I feel like that movie...
It's a gay movie about, it's like South Asian...
Yeah, it's like the first Bollywood lesbian movie. It definitely has its problems, and I totally understand when brown lesbians people don't like it, but also like I feel like it dealt very well specifically with the trauma of growing up gay. There's also Booksmart, which was pretty fun.
Booksmart.
Minus that weird fucking subplot
we don't talk about
the teacher.
No, we don't need to talk about that.
Elisa and Marcella.
Dickinson came out.
Yes.
Good Omens, obviously.
Oh yeah. We also had Toucan Birdie.
And while it obviously has huge issues, I'd like to acknowledge Euphoria. Everyone in that show is queer.
Nice.
Everyone is. Nice. And obviously it's got Hunter Schafer with top billing besides Zendaya, who's trans. And Zendaya plays, like, she never labels herself, so I can't say what she is certainly, but she's definitely gay. And she's in love with Hunter Schafer in the show, and even though I have a lot of issues with Euphoria, that's a nice part of it, I guess. Lastly, this is something I only saw very recently, but I'd like to mention the National Theatre Live Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes.
Production. What's the name? The guy who directed it
Nicholas Heitner, who directed History Boys and also Center Stage.
Made A Midsummer Night's Dream into the, like, bi disaster story that it should have been.
Yes. I loved it so much. It made me so happy watching
Gwendolyn Christie is just so beautiful in this. I was gasping every time, every time she came in the frame. I was just like,
and
wow.
I love the lovers. I love that polycule. Yeah.
It's an awesome
like, words cannot describe the serotonin. Also,
I can't believe they used, like, a Florence song and a Beyonce song.
Yes. Something that I just realized that we forgot to mention for 2016, but that's fair, because we only really watched it. Both of us only really watched it this year. Fleabag.
Oh my god, Fleabag was on my list. I can't believe I didn't mention it.
Fleabag.
Fleabag. It's not I wouldn't classify it as a gay show, but Fleabag is bi.
It's just quality TV.
It's quality TV. And also Andrew Scott is in it, and he's not gay in the show, but, you know, he's gay.
The hottest straight man on Fleabag was played by Andrew Scott, who was gay. And also, please remember, straight women, Andrew Scott is gay, so leave him alone. Don't be fucking creepy.
Don't be gross.
Like, it's really quite sad, actually, the way that he's talked about, the way women will just say the most unwarranted things to him. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And, not technically gay, but The Personal History of David Copperfield was just a lovely, 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 lovely film. I can't wait for the rest of you guys to watch it. It made me so happy.
Also, we've already talked about this on the podcast, but Now Apocalypse came out in 2019.
Oh, yes!
And yes, we love Now Apocalypse, and we've already talked about it, so I won't go into it too much. And same with Good Omens, but yeah.
But I loved It Must Be Heaven and also Parasite. Parasite's my favorite film of the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So now we've said all of our favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you think, like, when you think about how the gay films, rather the representation of gayness in films, like, how do you think it's changed from the start of the decade to now? Like, that's a huge question, I know.
Yeah,
So,
that is
like,
a big question. I'd say overall it's improved from what it used to be. I love the trajectory that LGBT cinema is going. Not just in Hollywood, because honestly I feel like Hollywood's a bit doomed and we can't expect Hollywood to deliver what we need for gay cinema. Like we need to look elsewhere, and I love that outside of Hollywood and like in independent cinema, LGBT cinema is really thriving. I love that so much. You know, we're getting a lot more quantity, so we're actually allowed to become like picky with what we get. Like, it used to be like, you know, this is all you have, so you have to like it, but now it's not like that at all, which I love.
I love that now we have arguments. We like, you and I have had arguments over like what's the best one of the decade. Like we couldn't have done that 10 years ago.
We could not have. Like, what did we have? We had nothing. I love knowing that I'm a lesbian now. I love looking at films in this way. I love growing up, really.
I love growing up too. I think there's a lot of like negativity around people talking about it at the moment because of the end of the decade coming up.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know,
but, you know, I'm really happy to be alive. I'm very surprised that I'm alive, but I'm very happy that I am. Like, obviously the people in my life are great, but, you know, the films are making it really worth it these days. Yeah, so I really love the trajectory that we're on. None of it's going to be perfect. I really can't wait for us to just see LGBT cinema at the same level that we see regular cinema and just rank it along with everything else.
I agree.
I can't. I know that, like, it's probably never going to happen. Definitely not in the West, but...
Do you mean...
anytime soon,
yeah.
But, like...
And also, there are a lot of Eastern countries where it just might not happen as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of Asian countries.
A lot of
especially
Middle
the ones
Eastern
that I'm from.
Yeah. Lots of Middle Eastern countries too. But that being said, there are a lot of diasporic directors that we've mentioned that are making content as well. One thing I love about growing up, like at the start of the decade, obviously, as I said, I was a dumbass. I'm less of a dumbass now. Much more aware of myself, which is very nice. It's also quite fun now when I look back on things that I love and I can be like, oh, I was very gay. And actually, it's funny.
I love doing that.
There are still things I'm not quite aware of. Like the other day when I was talking to you about Catwoman and how I used to watch Catwoman all the time. And you were like, what did you watch Catwoman all the time? And I said, oh, I watch Catwoman. I used to watch the behind the scenes videos of Halle Berry, like, practicing her fighting, like, all the time. And you were like, that's the gayest thing you've ever said.
Yeah.
And even while I was talking to you, I didn't think, like, I was like, didn't everyone do that? I love fight choreography.
But yeah, at the start of the decade, I was quite homophobic. Whenever I would interact with gay media, I had, like, a big aversion to it. Like, on the rare occasions that I did consume gay media, I had a big aversion to it and a lot of like complicated feelings about it, which I'm glad to have basically relinquished now. By the end of the decade, I love revisiting things. I love that I've been able to revisit things and see them in a new light.
I love that. I love that. It's one of my absolute favorite things.
Like, we mentioned that, like, you know, the quantity of quality things has increased, but that's also access has increased for us.
That was one thing I wanted to bring up.
Like, it is great.
Streaming services obviously have issues, and there are lots of capitalism issues attached to streaming, and I'm not trying to dismiss those. But I think one great thing about streaming is that we do have access. LGBT filmmakers are able to get their work distributed. They're more likely to be able to find a platform for their work, which I think is great.
To the people who need to hear those stories.
And I really love that. Especially, I'm loving Canopy right now. Canopy has so much great stuff.
Canopy has always been great. SBS On Demand. Stan does a lot of really random shit.
I love Stan. Stan's so chaotic. Like, I really dig it. I really dig the unexpectedness of it. That I can go on there and find, like, the Mortal Instruments, and I can also go on there and find Marlena the Murderer. Like, I feel like Stan is me. Yeah. And also, for the record, Stan was able to stand up to Disney Plus for ages and be like, no, we're keeping...
Not Disney. Anymore, though.
Not anymore, unfortunately. But they did. They landed that deal. But, no, I think streaming has meant that we have an increase in content. Not all of it good, but an increase.
But it's good to have a choice.
Yeah, it's good to have a choice. Also, and I think that's partly because streaming services, did you know, because they are not technically counted as broadcast companies, they are not regulated by things like appropriate codes and stuff. So that's why a lot of streaming services can make gay content even in countries where it's prohibited, because they are not technically counted under those laws that regulate that kind of stuff. Streaming services have that advantage in a lot of countries still, which is why, while you do get a lot of really bad gay content made on streaming services, at least you're getting it made because they can. I really like that a lot of streaming services are like, we're making this because we can. Not because it's good, but because we can.
So what are you looking forward to?
You know, I am absolutely, my first port of call for 2020 is Birds of Prey.
Yes, I am excited for Birds of
Prey. I
Prey.
am so excited for Birds.
I mean, obviously, I'm quite skeptical of the whole reboot sequel franchise of Hollywood. But Birds of Prey just looks fun. Just let me enjoy my girl gang movie.
Yes. Margot Robbie was really born to play Harley Quinn, and in a good way. Like, I just love how much she loves that character, and I love the story behind how she got this movie made. It's produced by her, and she literally was like, I'm gonna get a director that wouldn't have the opportunity otherwise. I think
Cathy Yan.
She's awesome, and Margot was like, I want to give opportunities to people who normally wouldn't, because that's the least I can do as a white woman with all this money and privilege. And I love that about Margot.
Mm-hmm. What else are you?
I am also extremely excited, as you know, for Emma.
Yes.
Starring Anna Taylor-Joy as Emma in the Jane Austen adaptation. I forget the name of the woman who's directing it, but
Autumn de...
But she, it looks stunning. Bill Nighy plays Emma's dad, which I think is like a really great bit of casting. They're my two main ones. I honestly can't think beyond. I'm
excited for the end of Miss Robot. I'm excited for the end of BoJack Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for Alice Wu's new film. I'm excited for Andrew Thomas Huang's first feature film. Hopefully that comes out next year. I'm excited for, apparently Bob the Drag Queen is doing like a Queer Eye style show with other drag queens on HBO next year, so that seems cool. Not technically a movie, but I am going to see Hannah Gadsby's new show, new stand-up special at the Opera House the day before my birthday, which I'm excited for. Oh, Nanette by Hannah Gadsby, that special, I love that so much.
Oh, that came out this decade, didn't it?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that was beautiful. Very painful, but very beautiful.
Bond movies are always done, but I am excited for No Time to Die.
Yeah. I'm excited to properly see Matthias and Maxime, Xavier Dolan's new film. I'm hoping that it's going to be at Mardi Gras Film Festival. I'm excited for Monsoon, that film with Henry Golding, that gay film with Henry Golding.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yeah, that's also showing at Mardi Gras Film Festival. And there's an Australian lesbian movie coming out called Ellie and Abby and Ellie's Dead Aunt. And 2 years ago at either Mardi Gras Film Festival or Queer Screen Film Festival, they played like a short excerpt for this film which hadn't been made yet because they were still trying to get funding. And they managed to actually pull it together, and the actual feature film is coming out next year. It's about a girl in high school who's a lesbian and named Ellie, and she has a crush on this girl named Abby. Ellie's dead aunt, who was a lesbian in the 80s, just starts to manifest randomly like a fairy godmother.
Yes!
And give her like unwanted lesbian advice.
Love
basically.
That is also a very like staple
Rachel House is
part
in
of the genre.
Rachel House is in it. So yeah, I'm excited for those films.
One thing I am excited for in 2020, I'm excited that I've freed myself from watching Marvel movies. It took a long time, but I did it. I'm excited for Tan France. We were talking about this in the car last night. I'm excited for Tan France and Alexa Chung's fashion show. I don't know what it's called or anything or what it's really about. They just announced it on Instagram about 6 months ago. That they were making it. I love Alexa Chung. I've had a crush on her for a very long time, and I love her style and I love her fashions. I also like men. I don't even watch Queer Eye, but I love Tan France.
You will be watching Queer Eye.
I will be watching
because
Queer Eye.
Because we will be preparing a whole episode for Queer Eye next year.
Deah's going to prepare homework for me.
Yeah.
To watch it.
We can start today. Also, I'm just scrolling. I just searched up 2020 movies, and Venom 2 is coming out next year.
Oh, a gay cinema. Gay cinema, apparently.
Oh, God, it's so... Looking at Hollywood movies that are coming out next year is a little bit depressing, but I can't wait for the film festival circuit to start. I can't wait for Sydney Film Festival. I can't wait to just see the international and indie films that are coming out next year, because I'm really excited, because it's become so hard to find good movies.
Yeah, last weekend...
one thing, because there's so much quantity, it's really hard to find quality movies. I love movies so much, and I love just trying really hard to see them, and all the work that I do so that I can so I can watch them. Looking forward to that again.
Last weekend, listeners, Deah and I, we went and saw Knives Out, and we really enjoyed it, but it kind of led us into this unintentional spiral of depression where we were like talking for an hour and a half about how it's kind of depressing that so much of Hollywood now is just reboots and sequels and remakes. How Knives Out, one of the few films I could think of this year that was a completely original mainstream film.
That's actually made money.
The other two being Us.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Ugh.
I don't count Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Do you want to know why? Because it's completely based on other things. Like, it's
True.
There's nothing about
True. Nothing is original about Quentin Tarantino.
But we were talking about that, and I think that's one of my favorite things that I have done as the decade has progressed. I have learnt to curate my tastes and investigate like what I really want to watch, and I've made much bigger efforts to find things that I enjoy. That's a big part of our friendship, looking for things, isn't it? Which I love. I love that we're always saying like, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
I love this decade that I learned how to drive, so I can drive 40 minutes to the cinema that shows the important things that I'm lucky enough to drive to the cinema 40 minutes away.
I am lucky enough to be a gay who can drive.
Yes, I am lucky enough to be a gay who can drive. I drove to Canberra. I drove 2 hours to see High Life.
Canberra only 2 hours from here.
Yeah.
I hate that. Sorry, where I live it's 6 hours, it's 5 hours away.
Oh yeah.
To drive 5 hours for it.
So I love that I learned how to drive so I can drive to you.
Ah, stop it. Yes, that is very good, actually. But yeah, I think it's been a good decade overall. I think there's been more good than bad, especially when you get to the tail end. And I'm excited for the 20s. Actually, I think there's a lot of existential dread going around, as I said, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's all we can do, really.
It's all we can do. You can't be sad about it. Also, I'm very happy to be entering a decade in which Sherlock hasn't been on.
Okay, so that's our episode. That's our first volume of GayV Club. I've loved that we started this year. I've loved the response. I'm so grateful to everyone who's been so lovely about it.
Much.
I'm grateful to my friends who've helped us
so
much.
Xavier, who made our...
Thank you, Xavier, again for our logos. I still can't get over how I love it. I'm gonna make us t-shirts with it.
Hell yeah!
I don't want to sell t-shirts, but I want some for us.
Hey, tell us your favorites of the decades. If you have any that we didn't mention, if you have something that you like, how could they not have mentioned this? Please share it. It would be great to hear what other people think.
You can let us know on our social accounts, Twitter and Instagram at GayV_club. We also have a YouTube account for
closed captions.
People that need to listen with closed captions.
Well,
just let us know what you'd be excited for us to talk about, because we do have some things planned for next year. We're going to return in January.
Also, let us know, what are you excited for 2020? What are you excited for the 20s? I know a lot of people are excited to see Arpatz's Batman. Yes, I call him Arpatz. I think that's a great nickname.
I think it's a great nickname. I know he hates it, but...
I think that's part of the reason why I love it.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're excited for, and we will catch you in 2020. Hope you have a lovely end of the year. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Happy holiday season. Yep. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope Star Wars isn't bad. Even I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I hope Star Wars isn't bad. I know a lot of people love it, so I hope it's not bad.
I am hopeful it's not going to be bad.
It's coming out on my birthday.
It's actually coming out the day before your birthday. It's coming out on the 19th here. Yes, Australian privilege is getting Star Wars the day before it comes out.
I don't
understand why we get Star Wars then, but then for every other movie that's ever going to be released, they're like, you know what? We have to release this on Boxing Day. I wish I understood that trend.
I don't get it. I thought that things were released on Boxing Day just because it's the easiest way for cinemas here to make money.
Probably, but at the same time, they're often so full of people, you can't even see them on that day anyway. We will see you guys in 2020.
Some episodes that we do already have planned for when we return in January. We want to do one on Queer Eye. We want to do one on The Handmaiden. We want to do our episode on whether we should be sad and the representation of sadness in LGBT media.
We're gonna do a Shakespeare episode.
Yes! Shakespeare episode.
We're also gonna do an episode on Doctor Who for me.
Yes.
For all of you other gays out there who just love Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm here for y'all.
I think it would be fun to do an episode on on gay superheroes.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or like how Hollywood has tried to tackle the issue of representing gay superheroes.
You know, I've already got a whole essay about that.
I have a lot to say.
Gay TV is garbage!
Gay TV and garbage is here why was the first topic that we thought of. Like, we wanted it to be our opening episode, but it's a very big topic. So I feel like we may actually just separate it with, like, separate case studies of different shows. We're still deciding on that. We're still deciding. I suppose. But yeah, that's what we have planned for next year when we return. But if you do have any suggestions, please let us know.
Good luck with your families and loved ones over the holidays.
Absolutely.
And, of course, we can know that this time of year can be very difficult. Obviously, look after yourself. And be safe. And
enjoy the rest of Sagittarius season.
Yeah, you'll be a whole year older when we come back.
I will be. I will be 23. Nice. It will be time for me to retire to the Salton Sea.
Yep. Thank you for listening, as always, guys.
Thank you so much.
Be good, be safe, and watch something nice.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.